PPI put an end to the Goldilocks climb on Wall Street just for the day. The fact is, the market absorbed this bad or hot PPI pretty well from my point of view. The market is still demonstrating a fair amount of strength, but I don't believe that we are just going to continue to climb from here. I believe that this was sort of a shock, an algorithmic response to the trading. And I think that we are still going to be in a situation where the markets are at an all-time high, and we've got to be cautious. I still like inverse bets to the S&P 500 right now. Now, what I also liked about today is that it revealed which of the big tech stocks is an outlier, and that was Amazon. I'm going to go into that chart. I'm going to explain why Amazon is showing some strength in particular right now. But let's take a minute and let's talk about what happened with the PPI. It showed that inflation is not cooling, and the big concern is how can this already hawkish Fed give us the cuts that we need that will cause the economy to pick back up if inflation isn't coming down. That's the problem in a nutshell. Goldilocks environment has apparently been canceled by the PPI today. So here are the facts. Here's what we know for sure. Number one, inflation is accelerating right now, and it's not just in the headline number. That core read showed us it's more embedded than people had hoped. Number two, the tariff impact is finally cascading through the system, and corporations are beginning to pass on the burden of it to the consumer. That's the underlying reason the PPI came in so hot. Number three, the Fed, Jay Powell, his policies could remain more restrictive than has been anticipated or priced into this up market at the top. And number four, something we saw with the job numbers is that data is shaky, and it only takes one bad data read for the markets to go into algorithmic sell-off. Largely, I believe the market absorbed this bad PPI pretty well, and it did appear that we went back to the business of climbing or at least holding for the time being, but we're still on shaky ground. I'm going to answer the question in today's video. How do we make money now that we got a bad PPI and we're sitting at the top of the markets? This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for hitting the like. Thank you for hitting the subscribe. In my pro trading community, the Stocks with Josh Discord, Chart Goat University, we've got classes. You can live trade with me. You've got access to my Crown Traders, and you've got access to my Goat Alerts and my A+ trade setups. You can get to it by going to the website, which is the name of the show, Stocks with Josh. You just search in your browser, www.stockswithjosh.com, and come check it out. What I like to do is when the markets are in free fall, I go to look for an outlier. That's a stock that doesn't go down as much or holds its ground or goes down briefly and pops faster than everything else. Was there an outlier in big tech today? Absolutely. It was Amazon. I alerted the Stocks with Josh Discord to keep an eye on it, and that was a good decision because it popped more than 2% today on a really ugly day where most stocks and cryptos pulled back. So why exactly is Amazon popping off, or why was it the outlier on today's bearish data? Let's get into the facts. Huge expansion of their grocery chain news came out today. Let's go look at it. Amazon announced a bold wrap-up of its same-day perishable grocery delivery service, now live in over 1,000 cities, with plans to reach 2,300 U.S. locations by year's end. Very ambitious. Doubling what they're doing means the potential for doubling the profits. Prime members on orders above $25 get free delivery, very easily to achieve, while non-Prime users pay a modest fee, driving people to become members. The announcement alone kicked Amazon shares higher, around a 1 to 1.4% move, and notably dragged down competitors like Instacart, DoorDash, Walmart, and Kroger. Amazon, one store to rule them all. Very good news today. Wall Street loves this move. Analyst upgrades are fueling the price higher. Morgan Stanley reiterated an overweight rating with a $300 price tag. Wow. Evercore ISI reaffirmed an outperform stance with a $280 target. Telsey Advisory Group also stuck with outperform at a $265 target. These upgrades, combined with bullish analyst commentary around Amazon's strategic expansion, gave a lot of confidence to investors today, and on a down day, it was being gobbled up. So it's time to go look at the chart. We follow the chart because price is truth. Let's go see what it has to say. All right, first thing I want to point out to you is we're using 1 week charts here on Amazon, which means that each candle is 1 week of price action in the market. We've had 2 beautiful weeks back to back where the price has gone up after a recent pullback, that same pullback that gave us the bullish engulfing on the S&P 500. Even though we are at the top of the range, we have down here, the MACD has turned up. When the MACD is pointing straight up on the weekly time frame, typically it clues continuation. In addition to that, when we go take a peek at the RSI, we're at a pretty good level. We see that we recently had gotten rejected at 64. We pulled back right above 50, popped, and we're on our way back to test that 60 level. But the main thing I want to point out about the weekly RSI is that we've got a lot of room to trend higher, which would allow this stock price to climb and possibly get up to 240, 250, 265, very easily the outcome ahead. Now, I want to take you guys into the monthly chart. And again, even though we are, like everything else on Wall Street, in sort of the higher range of Amazon's historic pricing and momentum, we are still in a place where there is room to go higher. Nothing on this higher time frame is significantly overbought, and nothing is screaming bearish divergence. Now, one last thing here on the monthly chart, we have the red EMA line. That is the 10-month EMA, and you can see that we are above that. And just want to comment that any single time price is holding above the 10-month SMA, then it confirms that the primary trend absolutely remains upward. So from the technical standpoint, this is by no means broken down. It's by no means overbought, and there is room for this to climb. But let's get into some practicals. I see support around 215 to 220, and beneath 209 would be a great place to put in a stop loss. I try never to talk about stocks here on this YouTube page without talking about capital preservation and properly having the discipline to have a stop loss strategy on every single trade that you get into. Now, you don't want to overtrade and panic every single time the market goes up or down or fluctuates a little bit. You don't want to get shook out of your positions. You want to have a trade plan. And I see this being a good stock to accumulate between 215 and 220. I ultimately see it pushing up to 245 to 255 as an ideal area to take profit in the short term. You got to remember, the markets have not had any major pullback. They're overdue for a pullback. And so if you want to try to ride up the current momentum, you would want to have a tighter stop loss. If you're going to give it a little bit of time, sort of a year-end move, I think that the stop loss for me in that case would be under 210, around $209. That would put the price action beneath that 10-month EMA, which would mean that the current uptrend is on pause. Overall, I think Amazon showed strength today. We need to pay attention to it. Let me know what you guys think about Amazon. Are you doing some long-term investing at this lofty level? Are you going to wait for a bigger pullback, or are you going to try to ride the wave a little further? I think it gets to around 245, 255. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to live trade with the community. I'm going to talk about some updates in the Stocks with Josh Discord. We've got a whole series of new GOAT alerts that are rolling out that I think are going to help a lot of people. We have measured success. Everything I roll out to the family has a pretty good accuracy score or profit score. So I look forward to sharing those details with you. Don't miss out on it. Stocks with Josh Discord is just getting better and better. Make sure you check it out. Peace and blessings, my friends. Thank you for hitting the like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.